between themselves that the incident that Bennett made a chilling discovery. He saw the hatchet that was used to break his own window was actually in his car, which was a tangible reminder of the danger that he had narrowly escaped. And in the aftermath after the attack, Bennett and his fiancée reported the incident to local law enforcement. And during questioning, Bennett provided a description of the assailant that would soon become the subject of intense scrutiny and debate, because he insisted that the attacker was wearing a white suit, but most notably, he claimed the figure had sported long bunny ears. And this unusual detail would later contribute to the moniker that would be applied to this mysterious assailant. And Bennett's fiancée offered a conflicting account of the attacker's headwear, disputing the presence of bunny ears and instead describing a white, crown-like headpiece, which also... What? But the discrepancy highlighted the confusion and fear surrounding the encounter, making it very difficult for investigators to establish a clear narrative. But despite the darkness, both witnesses claimed they could clearly see the attacker's face. However, neither Bennett nor his fiancée could definitively identify the assailant's race, because it was dark, so fair enough. But this inability to recognize such a basic detail, despite a clear view, underscores how fear and confusion can distort perception and memory, which is very, very true. It's extremely hard to identify someone when you're going through that amount of fear and adrenaline. I know I would have trouble. I can't even remember what shirt Caleb put on today. That's terrible. That's actually... What does he even look like? On October 22nd, 1970, just days after the attack, the Washington Post published an article titled "Man in Bunny Suit Sought in Fairfax." Crazy headline. This piece detailed the assault and specifically mentioned the hatchet that had been thrown at the car window and landed inside the car, bringing the very bizarre encounter to the attention of a wider audience and the setting stage for a growing legend of the Bunny Man. It's like the clowns all over again. Oh no. And law enforcement took the report seriously, aware of the danger posed by someone willing to act so violently. So they examined the hatchet that was left by the assailant, hoping it would provide clues to identify and catch the perpetrator. However, despite the hatchet and the detailed, though somewhat conflicting, eyewitness accounts from Bennett and his fiancée, the investigation faced obstacles. With no additional evidence and leads running dry, the case would be eventually marked as inactive due to the lack of proof for prosecution. And in the end, the hatchet was actually returned to Bennett, a grim reminder of his encounter with his unknown attacker, which is kind of weird. That's evidence. That's evidence. Why are we giving it back to the guy? It wasn't his hatchet. I don't understand that at all, but what do I know? But as the investigation into the initial Bunny Man sightings began to lose momentum, a second encounter would reignite public concern and challenge the authorities' understandings of the case. On October 29th, 1970, just 10 days after the incident involving Robert Bennett and his fiancée, the Bunny Man made another appearance, a mere block away from the site of the first sighting on Guinea Road. Paul Phillips, a construction security guard, found himself face to face with an individual whose appearance bore an uncanny resemblance to the description that Bennett gave to authorities. Phillips reported encountering a man on a porch of an unfinished home, wearing a very distinctive gray, black, and white bunny costume. Why? I need to know the lore. And the guard estimated the figure to be a white male, approximately 20 years old, standing at around 5'8", and weighing about 160 pounds. And the costumed individual, the Bunny Man, was actively engaged in chopping at a porch post with a long-handled axe. This guy loves axes and hatchets. An action that echoed the weapon described in the earlier incident. And the situation quickly escalated when the figure addressed Phillips directly, issuing a very chilling threat. This just sounds like just a slapstick horror film that I wouldn't want to be in. Like, just terrifying. But according to Phillips' account, the man warned, "All you people trespass..." Wait, I need to do a bunny voice. What's a bunny voice?
Meh. All you people trespass around here. If you don't get out of here, I'm gonna bust you on the head.
Sorry, the Bugs Bunny thing was right there. So Phillips, terrified, retreated to his vehicle immediately, intending to retrieve his handgun for self-defense. However, upon his return, the Bunny Man had vanished into the nearby woods. you know, like bunnies do, leaving behind only questions and heightened sense of unease in the community. So the Fairfax County Police Department's investigation report confirmed the basic elements of the October 29th incident. Officers responded to a call about a subject dressed as a rabbit with an axe. To get 2 of those is crazy. But upon arrival at the scene, multiple units searched the area, but they found no physical evidence that the bunny man was ever present. And units 307, 195, 363, 422, 266, and 378 were all of the responding officers, with nothing to show for their efforts, leaving a large bunny at large. Like it actually said, large white rabbit at large. Crazy. And the lack of tangible proof mirrored the challenges faced in the investigation of the Bennett incident, further complicating efforts to identify or apprehend this individual. And the proximity of the 2 sightings, both in terms of location and timing, suggested a pattern of behavior that was impossible to ignore. And the Kings Park West encounter occurred just 1 block away from the Guinea Road site, indicating that the bunny man, whoever that might be, was operating in a specific geographical area. And this realization just intensified the public's concern and led to increased security measures in the vicinity. So as news as the second sighting spread, the community's fear and fascination with the bunny man phenomenon just intensified. And the incident would just capture the public's imagination, sparking widespread speculation and concern. Local residents found themselves grappling with the unsettling possibility that a potentially dangerous individual was at large in the neighborhood, a potentially large bunny at large, if you will. An individual who was disguised in a costume that seemed more suited as a children's party than a crime scene. So in the aftermath of the 2 confirmed bunny man encounters, a wave of panic swept through Fairfax County, Virginia. And the local community, already on edge from the initial incidents, found itself grappling with a phenomenon that defied easy explanation. And as Halloween approached, oh God! The atmosphere of fear intensified, leading to significant disruptions in daily life. This literally reads like a cheesy horror movie. I can't. So the Fairfax County Police Department faced unprecedented challenge as reports of the bunny man sightings flooded into their offices. And in the weeks following the Bennett and Phillips incidents, over 50 individuals contacted law enforcement claiming to have seen the mysterious figure. And these reports varied widely in their details, with some accounts veering into the realm of fantastical. Some people just want attention, you know? One report came from a guard who was watching a housing development that was under construction. And while on patrol, the guard claimed to see a man in a white bunny suit hacking down a porch post with a hatchet, very similar to Phillips. And walking closer to the bunny, he said, "You are oh wait, I gotta do my bunny voice."
Man, you're trespassing. If you come any closer, I'll chop your head.
A similar thing he said to Phillips. And after this interaction, the man in the suit hopped into the woods. I'm trying to imagine in my head if I would laugh or if I would be terrified. I think I'd be terrified, but then, you know, really good story if you go home and you're just like, guess what I saw? And local newspapers, including the Washington Post, played a key role in fueling public interest and concern. They're fueling the fire, if you will, with frequent articles detailing the sightings that kept the community informed, but also heightened fear and uncertainty. Meanwhile, law enforcement faced significant challenges in investigating the bunny man sightings. Officers would struggle to verify the growing number of reports and separate fact from fiction, all while lacking any physical evidence beyond the hatchet from the first incident. And as sightings increased, the case grew more and more complex, stretching the resources of the Fairfax County Police Department. Can you imagine putting all of your man hours into finding a giant bunny with an axe? But the impact of the bunny man phenomenon on the local community was a profound and far-reaching. And as Halloween approached, I just can't get over how this sounds like a freaking horror movie. Parents in Fairfax County expressed heightened concern for their children's safety. Don't let them trick or treat. Just don't let them Go to your local Walmart, get some candy, bring it home. Stay inside your house. Why would you risk that? There is a large bunny man with a hatchet hopping around your neighborhood. And the typically festive holiday season took on a sinister tone. Fair enough. With families grappling with the decision of whether to allow their children to participate in traditional activities. Don't! The psychological toll on the community became increasingly evident as the days passed. I mean, like, if I was a parent, I would move. Just drive. just somewhere else at this point, you know? Another headline, doctors say Bunnyman's mind is hopping. The press is just having a field day with this guy. But the Bunnyman scare had a very noticeable impact on local schools, with a rise in absenteeism as worried families kept their children home. Yes. Because you know all those kids